welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. I have Lindsay and Jen here with Pink Kitchen Breads. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome. How about you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're just coming off a weekend. So before we get started on your business, did either of you guys do anything fun and exciting over the weekend?
We did actually, yeah. So usually we're doing markets on Fridays, and this was the first Friday that I stepped back and I did not go to the market. It was my husband and my 16th year and wedding anniversary. So yeah, we were down in the city hanging out down there, and Jen was manning the market with all of our friends. So
yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
Turned out really great. Same market, different customers, different atmosphere, but it was great.
Well, you could have seen Neha and I. We were actually in the city on Friday. We went to see the Dave Matthews Band. So we had a lot of
nice.
We had a lot of fun doing that. First time I saw them was like 30 years ago. Yes, that's
okay.
got a
Sure.
couple of years on both of you.
They're still going strong though, you know?
They still are. You get a chance if you do like them at all. They sound pretty much the same way they did 30 years ago. So it's pretty awesome.
Beautiful.
Well, beautiful. Well, once again, happy anniversary to you and your husband. That's beautiful that you got to celebrate that. And happy having to work during the weekend while your partner is out enjoying herself. So it looks like, yes, for sure. Well, why don't you guys tell us about your business and what inspired you to start the business?
Yeah. Okay. So I originally started this business almost 2 years ago. The inspiration for the name comes from the kitchen. I have a pink kitchen. And so ultimately that name just kind of like fell into place. But I also have a lot of experience in the corporate world, particularly in nursing. I was a nurse for a very long time. And after having 2 kiddos, honestly, just the work, the career life and the mom life was a little challenging for me. So I stepped back and kind of fell into sourdough more for therapeutic reasons, to kind of give myself a creative outlet, which was not only cooking or baking, but I was painting on sourdough, which is kind of crazy, but also artistically fun. So that's how it started for me. And then my husband was here just kind of helping me throw flavors in and trying things out. And I'd always just give bread to my friends. And a couple of friends just said, you really should start selling this. There's a market, people are looking for sourdough. And I just tiptoed into that. First selling on Facebook Marketplace. Not a lot of advertising, a lot of word of mouth. And I'll tell you, Joe, it hasn't stopped since that day at all. And I always say, I just do what the bread wants me to do. And this is what it's asked. And now here we are. My best friend and partner now is on board, and we're baking up crazy amounts of bread, and we're making the name for ourselves, and we're feeding the community. And that's what we really love. And that's kind of what inspired us.
You know, with the bread business, first off, you want to make a lot of dough. And sorry,
Yes.
It was too easy for me to say that.
I know.
What are some challenges that you found as being a small business owner, and how have you been able to kind of overcome some of those challenges?
Well, there's definitely a lot of challenges. I would say like time management, space for sure. You can't really tell by the video, but my kitchen is very tiny. Essentially, we're sitting in the entire kitchen right now. Luckily, right behind me, I have like a mud room, a transition room. So Jen and I have been in there. We just recently put a double oven in there to help with production. And actually later this week, my good friend is going to be fixing it all up. So it's a little bit more of a space. But, unlike most other sourdough micro bakeries, we're working with limited space, 2 people, and we both have four kids between the 2 of us in elementary school. So they're also out of school.
Busy.
Yeah. So we're busy. It's warm. It's very warm in the house.
Like that.
Yeah. So, those are the challenges. Some of the challenges, a couple other challenges is, I've been doing this for a couple of years, really before it became super trendy. And now we're seeing sourdough micro bakeries pop up everywhere. So competition is something I would say that's a little challenging, but I don't think we think of many things as a challenge. We think of them as something to overcome and not be a challenge anymore. So we're both, grew up as athletes. We have a competitive spirit. And so when I look at a challenge particularly, I'm like, all right, how are we getting past that? And how are we getting to that to not be a challenge and that we thrive from it? So
love it.
It's a lot of growth and learning. for sure.
Well, hopefully you guys can tell I'm not anti-sports, as I'm sure you
For
can see from
sure. Big Jordan fans here. GOAT for sure.
Oh, you just won my heart by saying.
Hey, I mean, we grew up she's from Georgia, but I mean, I'm from Chicago. I was here in the 90s, so I know those moments were amazing.
Yes, never forget them. You kind of touched base on some of it, but let's kind of expound on that. One of the ways you're going to have to differentiate yourself from others because there is a little bit more competition. But in order to differentiate yourself, it's all about acquiring your customers, keeping your customers, and growing your customers. So what sort of strategies do you guys put in place in order to do so?
Yeah, I'll let Jen answer this one because really we didn't start doing that until she came on board, and we've been killing it in that department. So
beautiful.
Yeah, we really focus a lot on thinking outside of the box and bringing something new to the table, whether it be products, branding. Our brand is big for us. We like to stick out, draw people in. We have our big pink tent and our signs.
You can see from our outfits,
our overalls.
We wear matching pink overalls.
Our shoes,
our hats,
pink, everything.
Okay.
We have stickers, we have t-shirts and hats that we also sell as well. It brings people in. We did a market where people just pulled over because they saw the pink tent. They didn't even know what we did. And then they ended up looking at our stuff. And, we put out a superior product, in my opinion. I've tried a lot of sourdough especially since I've joined Lindsay. And I feel like, we're up there. So that's always helpful to have a really good product. But yeah, like our branding is huge.
It is huge. We're so pink, and the cool thing too that I think you'll get from us is if you come to a market, not only are you coming to us because you're like, oh, what is this pink situation happening over there? But we're a vibe. Like, we are an experience. When you come to our tent, we are making eye contact with you. We are talking to you directly. There isn't a single person who comes to our tent that doesn't get greeted, that we don't get to know, that doesn't feel like they're part of our Pink Kitchen family. That customer service aspect is super important to us. We can't stand it when we're anywhere and we're getting ignored by a customer service person. So we make that part of the experience. Plus, sitting behind us is our husbands, and we have a huge group of friends and kids, and we're just there to hang out with our friends and celebrate at the same time. So there's always a lot going on, and we're really personable, and
people are drawn to us for sure.
Yeah.
We're fun.
Well, and I think you're hitting on something pretty strong, right? Like, people obviously want quality products, but people want to believe in the people behind those products. So it does. And by the way, I'm already seeing this, ladies. You guys got the vibe going, okay? So that I certainly see that for sure.
We are the pink ladies. Come and see us.
One of the things we will, one of the things that we really have to make sure that when we're running a business is that we understand what's happening in that business, and that we can be proactive rather than reactive in the business. So what sort of future trends do you anticipate in your business, and how are you planning on kind of dealing with those trends?
Yeah, truthfully, I feel like we're very much still in the elementary phase. We're still really learning. We don't really know where we're going. We get asked all the time, when are you going to have a brick and mortar? When are you, going to open something? And to us, that just doesn't seem feasible at this time in terms of where we are financially for our business and growth wise. We do know something that we really do, and I feel like we kind of started, was we teach sourdough classes, because a lot of my background was in teaching nursing and adult learning. And so I've been teaching sourdough classes basically since I started this, at local libraries, at cafes, and local restaurants. So that's something I think will really continue because it's very popular. We find that the community really likes it. And then I think, Joe, is what Jen said earlier about thinking outside the box. We always want to be those people that you see something different with, that you don't see, particularly with every other sourdough business. And we're not 100% sure what that looks like, but we're always going to be here to ride and take the journey wherever it's going to take us.
And we know this is just the beginning. We feel things coming.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right? The bread is telling us.
Nice. Yes. You're needing to continue to grow.
Yes, I love it.
In the way we love positivity here. It's one of the big reasons why we do this. I again, not only was I in the corporate world for a while, but I also was in the not-for-profit world for a while. And I'm a big fan of believing in what you're doing, being passionate about what you're doing, which is certainly why my wife and I have established this channel. Tell us about a moment of success. Tell us about something that really, that's happened to you along your journey that really kind of keeps you motivated and keeps you going.
Yeah, so I have a couple of moments that really stick out for me. And, like I said, I had started this journey, but on my own early on. And Jen had been helping me throughout it and then really just came on strong this spring and summer. But I remember early on, I went to one of our local businesses. It's called Eastside Cafe. Great place. She would always just let me come and set up a table and sell to people. And I advertised one time and my husband was there just to help me unload the car. We didn't even get the car unloaded. There was a line from my table to the door and we were sold out before we could unload with a line of people still there. And I mean, it just was like a whirlwind. And I was just like, holy crap. I don't know what just happened. Like I couldn't believe it. And, the grassroots customer base is like everything for us. I never had really advertised other than Facebook. And quite frankly, I'm not super heavy on the social media anyways. And so I would say that moment. And then when I started the classes and they were selling out within 5 minutes and having to like rebook new ones. So those were major moments of success. And then Jen pushed, she really did push me. I will admit it that I've always been like, no, I'm okay. I'm fine with what I'm doing. And she's like, no, you have something. It's amazing. Everybody loves it. Our friends are major supporters. Like they're pushing it on Facebook to social media. They're telling everyone about us. So those were my major moments. And then Jen has a really good one too for her.
So this started out for me as a mom's night out with Lindsay. So I would go to her pop-up and help her sell the bread, drink some wine, hang out. We'd go to dinner afterwards. And it was just like a real fun night for us, And I started to help her at her classes. And when I went to her first class, I had no idea what to expect. And the engagement and how she breaks it down, how she simplifies everything, how she interacts with everyone, all the participants and their questions. I was just amazed. So I saw that and I saw the need that the community had for this and the want. And I just told her, I was like, you need to expand. You've got to do this because it's there and people want it. And I wanted to be part of it. So I made her take me.
She did. She did.
She's teaching me everything.
I know.
I've never been big in the kitchen, husband.
She's not allowed to use a couple of appliances in the kitchen quite yet.
Very bad at knife work, but I'm learning.
Yeah,
and it's awesome. And but I could tell early on that this was something big, and she needed a little nudge.
And, we do the French market that's in West Dundee every Friday. That's something we've committed to this year. West Dundee, Sleepy Hollow, Elgin, those are Algonquin even are pretty much where we feed the community. And the very first market we were there, we sold out in 45 minutes. Like we couldn't even make it to the ribbon cutting part. Like I was in the picture and I saw her and my husband getting slammed and like had to run back and like they just took all our product and it was fantastic. And we were just like, what just happened right now to us?
That was definitely the moment.
That was, and it was such a rush, you know, it was just like, not only was it like an adrenaline rush, but you're like, oh my gosh, we just worked our butts off for 3 days in blazing heat, tired. And we're like, oh, is this worth it? And then that happens. You're like, it's worth it.
It's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Ladies, what's the best way for people to reach out to you and find out more about Pink Kitchen Breads?
Yeah, I think we are on social. Facebook is definitely our most interactive place where a lot of people, particularly from the community, find us. We are on Instagram as well. So those two platforms kind of play off of each other. We're always available by email, pinkkitchenbreads@gmail.com. You'll find, I don't know if our phone number is anywhere, it probably is. You can definitely text us. I always tell people, if you call me, it's unlikely I'm going to answer the phone.
Thanks.
You're going to go straight to voicemail, but, leave me a voicemail. That's fine. But we're really a huge grassroots effort. We love, we're we're elder millennial types born in the 80s. So like that old school form of communication and networking and telling your friends about us, that's a huge thing for us. And that's just something that's always been major in my life is networking. So that's another way, even if somebody knows about us and they aren't going to buy from us, tell your friend, tell somebody else who might want something.
You can also, if you're at Costco and we're picking up a bunch of flour, I've met some people there and they've shown up at our markets. So we struggle to find large quantities of flour because we use King Arthur. So it's a very high quality flour. Yep. Poor Jen is like at Costco with a pallet putting like 50, 12-pound bags of flour. And of course, people are like, what are you doing, lady? I tell them, and then they ask, and they're like, well, where can we find you? And how can we order? And do you sell it? Word of mouth is huge too. And it's really nice when people come up to us at the market and they're like, so we saw you on Instagram and now we're here. And it's working, getting out there.
It's pretty cool to be recognized in public. I'm getting a little of that as we go, but that's wonderful. Well, ladies, thank you so very much for your time today.
Oh, thank you.
Love the business. Love what you're doing. Love the vibe. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Okay.
Yeah, of course. We're gonna bring you guys some bread because you got to try it.
You got it. You take care, guys.
Good. Thanks. Bye.